Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Model in a Movie, episode 14.
Racking them up.
The Creator is where we are. We'll talk about that in a little bit. My co-host, Brian Clark, how are you, sir?
Doing well, man.
Doing
Doing
good?
really well. Yeah.
Basketball season progressing well, coach?
Yeah, 11-7.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, 11-7. And we have 4 games left. So I'll either have a winning record or we'll have a tied record. I can't be any worse than tied.
Okay.
500. So I'm pleased with that.
Is there a chance to go further? Like if you win the last 4 games, could you go?
No, we don't
playoffs?
have freshman tournaments. I know
okay.
some states I think do, but once our season's over, it's over, and then the varsity only. So
cool. How's the varsity team doing?
Doing good. I think they're 9-7 or 10. I think they're 9-7. They're doing good, and our JV are killing it too. I think they're 10-7, 11-7, like me. So,
we are recording on February 10th. So if you see us not mention anything about a Super Bowl winner, that's because it hasn't happened yet, and I don't care. I never watch anyway. So, are you a big Super Bowl person? I don't. Do you have a party to go to tomorrow?
Only if the Steelers are in it. If the Steelers are in it, I put on my Mean Joe Green jersey and I sit there with my terrible towel. And I'm not a yeller though. I just kind of sit there and watch the game even when they're playing. But I'll probably have it on, but more for the movie commercials.
Yeah.
And I don't care who wins. But I don't want San Fran to win because then
I don't even know who's in it. I know the Chiefs are in it. And someone told me yesterday. Okay, so it's San Francisco and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And here's why: because that would mean that the Niners have tied the Steelers for the most Super Bowl wins in NFL history. And you can't have that. We don't want that.
Okay, so we have to root for the Chiefs.
Yeah, which I don't want to do that either.
Oh, it's a it's a Kobayashi Maru or whatever.
That's right. I'm a loser no matter. I'm going to go on DraftKings and I'm going to put money on it's going to be a tie game.
Yeah, I think I would be the same. I used to watch a lot of Bears, but the Bears are so bad that I just don't care. And like most sports, I have fallen away from sports because of multiple reasons. And it's so much of a waste of time with all this stuff I got going on. I can't sit there and I get having it on in the background and stuff, but I'm a huge White Sox fan and they're so terrible that I just can't watch anymore. And same with the Bears. It's been so bad for so long that I just don't care. And even if they were in, I don't know if I'd watch at this point.
My wife is a Bears fan also. She's got a Walter Payton jersey.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get it, man. I get it.
Okay, sports ball talk. I think we got that into the algorithm. We got some sports. Maybe someone will pick that up.
We can just do. And congratulations to the Chiefs. Congratulations to the Niners. We just covered that. Now we got to recover.
Perfect. How's everything else?
All right. We're good. My daughter's coming home today. She's been back to school since, early January. And now she's just coming home for a little visit, get a little homemade pizza and go back tomorrow. So
yeah, cool. Yeah. Is she enjoying it? She liking college?
She does. And she's good at what she's going to be doing. So it'll work out. Cool. How are you? How are you doing?
I've been better. Things are just been stressful around these parts. Yeah. And podcast, a lot of stuff going on. Trying to get that all squared away. I'll be recording, I think, with Scott tomorrow for the regular episode, and we're depending on what he gets done over there. I think I got to do an unboxing with his new printer. We might do a what's in the bin coming up tomorrow, depending on if things get done. And then, so I'm either recording again tomorrow or Monday, depending. And it's a lot.
Basketball, I am so far behind. I'm watching the one.
You might as well skip ahead.
It's the guy who is the painter for Jesse. Joe? Jim?
Oh, yeah. Jim.
Yeah. I can't remember. That's how far back I am, dude. You're talking. I just was watching earlier today, and as I was grading papers, and you guys were talking about the live show that's coming up. That's
Jim Capone. Oh, yeah. Scott and I think have to do a live show coming up in March, and I'll probably be announcing that. Little teaser here because I'm going to be out of town right it's Adepticon's coming up like the weekend before, and then we're leaving because it's spring break. So we might be doing, if things go well, there might be a Model Club TV live the 30th. And I was thinking, you know what? In editing our last Model in a Movie episode, it went so much, I really didn't have to edit much. Like there wasn't much I had to, it kind of worked. Maybe we'll do a live one of these once in a while too. Cause like once you're back off of basketball and we can kind of do them on different days, but
Sure.
with the system of be able to put pictures as I'm going, it works a lot better, I think. So that's good. Anyway, what you been working on? Let's talk about our models we're working on.
Well, we talked about Mulder and Scully, right? Last time.
Yes.
And I haven't, so we had snow days a couple weeks ago, snow and ice days, actually.
Yeah, us too.
And now today it's like 60 degrees out, dude. It's crazy. And it's going to be 30 next week. I'm not going to be able to walk. But hey, I took your advice. Look at the red hair.
Yeah, that looks good.
Now I have it, but I didn't put the Liquitex on it.
Uh-huh.
But I think it came out okay.
That's a good color.
Yeah.
That is a good color.
And what I did was I think I told you I screwed up and I accidentally put burnt sienna on. No. What did I put on? Burnt umber.
Okay, yeah. Burnt umber's dark.
Burnt umber, and then I put the burnt sienna on top, and that's what came out. So it actually
it kind of works. That would add a nice depth to it.
Yeah. So I got to do her eyes still, and then got Foxy. He's looking better now too.
Yeah.
He's looking at just same thing, his eyes.
Those are great little like portrait pieces, I think.
And I maybe one of the best TV shows ever made. So I'm gonna have like that. And then working on this guy, one of the Goon Platoon.
The Goon Platoon. I like that too.
Yeah. It's I gotta get once I get the eyes, and I forgot to put some shading on this shoulder here.
The Jaeger Army piece, if people are interested, head over there.
Paul Gill has them.
Yep.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them because there's one I haven't done. So there's 9 right now.
Are they announced a new one of those? I can't.
He hasn't in a while. That was the last.
That's the last one. Yeah.
That's been a few months. I think before his hip surgery. So who knows?
Yeah.
Working on RoboCop from Jamie.
I love those things.
I do.
Jamie's at Wonderfest this year. Jamie is going to have new ones. So if you were interested in more minifigs, Jamie Sai is going to have some of those there, some brand new ones and some of the old ones. I think he's going through and trying to decide what he's going to print for the show. So if you have any ideas of things he might have or might not have, send him a message. I'll leave his Facebook page in the comments. So
got this
in the
one.
description. It's so funny.
I know.
Ta-da!
And then that one, which you said is one of your favorites.
Yeah, I love that one. It's nice and thick. It's heavy.
Yeah. Is that with 2 C's? THI?
Yeah. Thick.
The thing is, I haven't touched any of these in 2 weeks, dude. And finally, look at
Soups.
Dude, it's coming nice. I love it.
So you liking that kit?
I love it. The base is done. The base is done.
Oh wow. Okay.
Got that taken care of. Although
I love that briefcase. It's such a or satchel, briefcase, whatever you'd call it. Like it's so well done.
Yeah.
Like just as a little stupid thing on a base. Like when I was printing, I'm like, man, this actually looks like a cool little briefcase.
Yeah. So what I did was burnt sienna, Model Master burnt sienna, which I use for leather.
Uh-huh.
And then I used Earthshade, or Flesh Shade. Earthshade.
Yeah.
Earthshade brush on it. And it just brings out, you can see
yeah, that looks good.
It's really nice. So that, and then it's just the finishing touches now.
Yeah.
Got the
pant. Ooh. Oh, did you talk on here that you decided not to do the lines?
Not yet. I think I was going to. Yeah. Yeah. That was they didn't show up.
Right. Okay.
You had to look at it like if you were looking at it like this from an angle or whatever, and the light hit it right, you could. But if you were looking at it straight, they weren't even there.
So
The
for people who
actual,
missed last episode, Brian was going to use a really fine point pen to do the pinstriping, but
it just didn't show. And I was smart actually. I didn't do it on that, but I did it on the inside of the jacket.
Okay.
But I painted over it. But yeah, there was.
It just
Oh no,
doesn't.
wait,
Yeah.
there
That's
it
a
is.
weird.
That's the thing, right there. It's in there, and
You
I don't
can.
even.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That's
worth the
hard. That's one reason I haven't. I have a Al Swearingen bust, and he has a pinstripe suit, and that's one of the reasons I have never painted. I'm like, I don't feel like doing pinstripes.
But if it's deep like this, I mean, you can see it shows, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does. I can see it, and in our crappy setup, I can still see the lines in the right light. So
it's
dude, that's a nice clean job on that S. I've painted so many Superman S's.
What I did.
So tell me your did you do yellow first or did you do the red first?
I did the red first.
Okay.
I did the red, and then what I do is I thin out yellow, and I just let the capillary action take it.
Yeah.
And then I paint it, and then I screw it up, but I don't screw it up enough that anybody can really tell. But if you look, let me see if I can find a spot. Like right in this one there, it's on the.
Oh yeah, you got to redo that. What are you talking about?
You're out of your mind. It's never happening. I'd have to redo all of it. So, it's not happening, dude. It's gonna be on the shelf. I'll see it from. Love it. But yeah, so
that's looking good. That pops really well.
And his hands too. I got his hands done. So I mean, what I did the washes, the sideshow blue, red, yellow washes.
Yeah.
I think it came out really.
You can see. Oh, that does look really nice. You can totally see the blue in there.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I like that.
So I'm really happy with the way it's coming. It's more of a kind of doing his eyes and then maybe having to touch something up here and there and then just putting it together. So hopefully next episode I'll be able to show the big old soups. So that's what I'm working on.
Cool. What'd you buy? Anything good?
Yeah, I did.
How many pints of plasma was this purchase?
Yeah, this might be basketball check time. Well, first I got
I just spent my stipend check too on something.
What do you get a stipend for?
For mentor, and 2 other random things I have to do.
Well, I got I don't know. I don't.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's the friend thing, the Jaeger signature series.
Come down a little bit.
So
oh wow, yeah, that's bigger than those always end up being bigger than what they think they're gonna be. That looks nice.
Yeah, it's it's quarter scale, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then it's his signature series. So he's got on the back of the base is Jeff's signature.
Yeah.
And there's a new one out, but I think it's the Glenn Strange Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And I'm not
I don't want to say anything.
No, I'm just saying I'm not
screw things up around here.
No, I'm just not as big of a fan of the Glenn Strange one.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not going to get that one, but I mean it looks awesome. It's just not my cup of tea. And I want his blood.
Oh, cool. All right. Johnny Ringo.
And there is a lot of things in here.
Can you get his face a little closer? Yeah. I think I want people to really see, like, and I know, again, our cameras aren't the best for this, but that's that piece, that is a dead-on cool likeness. Yeah. Oh, that is sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet life, in fact.
Sweet life. Yes. And there was a small issue with mine, but I had it, and I let John know that the way it was packaged, it just broke there.
Okay, wait, move it over a little bit. It was off camera. Oh, the little chip. Yeah, that's some putty.
So, no, I can't do that. I'm not good at that.
Okay.
He and I were talking, and I was like, you know what? My wife does puzzles. I think I have all the pieces, and she's looked at it for a couple hours because it did take time fidgeting, and she's like, I can. She goes, she found it, figured it out, and so I was like, John, we got it. Don't worry about it. But
Cool.
I just let him know that the way it was packaged, it might so
For
that he
other
could
people. Good.
yeah,
Cool.
protect it. So got that, and that comes with some things like there's the is it here? Well, there is the strap. It looks like black wire.
Uh-huh.
You might, I mean, if you want, you could probably get, maybe thin actual cord to do it.
Okay.
But it's crazy good, man.
Awesome. That is a
And
nice
then
kit. Their stuff's great.
two last ones. I ordered one, but I got two because apparently, if I complain on this show, David Horvath is like, all upset at me. Um, because I said, "Oh, I was supposed to get Captain Kangaroo #1. It's 3D printed. It doesn't matter." And I was just kind of busting chops, but he felt bad, and he sent me the Kolchak. So I got Kolchak,
I got it
and
too. I have not. I have. It's sitting in my pile. I have
have
not
you
opened
opened
it yet.
it? Okay. Well, you don't have to now.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was gonna save it for the regular show. So it's great you're showing yours here. That is a beautiful kit.
and he did again. He told me that there was a problem with the nub,
Yeah.
that he had to break mine off. I was like, okay, so what? That's called building. We're good. And
It's great.
yeah, whoops. I mean, you could.
Yeah. I don't want you to break. I don't want you to pull a me and drop it. It's a great scale. It's a great likeness now. It is did you get the Buddy Epson parts too?
I got him. I'll show him. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So
But and it's a great just like little like that's your perfect little figure model, I think.
yeah, it's cool. It doesn't have a big footprint,
Right.
but it's nice. And he sent me some of those plates that he's making. And I'll tell you, I already told him, I'm like, dude, I'm coming. I'm gonna get a bunch of these at Wonderfest because they were just really cool. I got Creep Show.
Nice.
Um, this one will go to my wife. She loves
That's cool.
she loves
Yeah.
Playground. I didn't know who this was, and he couldn't remember either at first. And then once he told me it's George Orwell, because this is
Oh, yeah. I just
try
saw
to,
him. Yes, okay. I was just
try
watching a video of him dying the other day.
and then of course I got the one that you guys didn't know what it was either. I knew what this was right away in that episode, dude. Like, how do you not know Strange Brew?
It slipped my brain. I'm like we could talk about that actually when we get to some movie stuff.
Yeah, and then you get the name tag, the thing,
Yeah.
and this is the one that I believe comes with it though.
Okay. That's cool.
And it's dude, these are so cool. These are so, and he's telling me, sponge paint them and all that. And because I was looking, I was like, how am I going to do that? And I never thought of sponge painting, but he's like, that's what it's kind of set up for. And you also get a picture. He says a little cartoony picture with it.
Yeah. Cool.
Little fun thing. It says to Brian, 1 of 30, because I got to have #1 because apparently I'm soft and I complain jokingly. And
I have a feeling they all say 1 of 30. All 30 of them. He should do that as a joke. Oh, totally, Brian. Do it.
Yeah, because I mean they're all the same pretty much, right?
Yeah.
He does send you some magnets and got to have the stickers.
Yep.
And sorry,
I'm totally gonna do that if we release something. It's gonna be one of everything.
And then I haven't opened this yet, but the decals for it's tape shut. I don't want to.
Yeah.
There's decals for a Chinese food container and a wine bottle. So, and then
cool.
Buddy Epson, it's the same kit, but he doesn't, and I didn't know this was coming. He threw this in there. I was like, dude, it's the same kit, but he doesn't give him the texture. What is that kind? The suit that Kolchak wore, tweed.
Yeah, tweed.
Yeah. So he smoothed it out instead, and we got a little little Barnaby Jones instead. So, and
It's
that
that was the original face. I have one sitting over there, and we were talking one night. He's like, "Man, it looks like Buddy Epps." I'm like, "Yes, it totally does."
yeah. So he's like, and I was like,
Swap
dude,
it out.
yeah. I was like, why'd you do that? He's like, I don't know. And
Plus, it's a good head to practice on. Just like practice painting faces.
Did you watch Barnaby Jones?
No, I know what it is. I didn't.
I think I watched it here and there, but not a lot. So
I just think of like Beverly Hillbillies.
Beverly Hillbillies or Green Acres? Which one is better?
Beverly Hillbillies. Although, yeah, you got Granny. Granny is what sells that show.
You know, ever since we got Me TV, I've been watching them because they're on at 9 o'clock. So it's right as I'm in bed. I'm reading my comic books because high literature for me, and I got that on in the background. I never liked Green Acres when I was young, but I've grown. I'm really appreciating.
Green Acres was good. We were watching it the other day too. Jamie just found a new channel. Hold on. Jamie, what's that channel you found? Catchy Comedy is the channel, and it's all the old TV shows.
Well, yeah, I found one that's all westerns, old westerns called Grit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
I'll have to see if we got that.
Yeah, there's some on there. So
awesome.
Would you don't have DirecTV, do you?
No, we have Comcast.
Okay. So
$400 million a month. That's what it costs.
Mine is too. It's not cheap, dude. It's stupid. So
cool. Anything else?
No, nothing worth talking about.
Yeah, that's kind of where I feel like I'm turning into Johansson the more older I get. I spent a lot of time kind of working on my Godzilla still with the OSL, and
that is so cool.
It doesn't pick up on the camera well.
No, so, it does. It looks nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, and I'm still not done. I'm still tweaking some stuff. The problem what's really bugging me about it is the eyes, and I'm trying to see how reflections would look on his eye. So I was trying to give it a little bit brighter because they would be wet. So I thought they would shine more, like give a higher reflection. So I'm kind of messing around with that a little bit. I did print, because I talked about, I think on one of the last 2 episodes, either this one or Scott's, is I don't like George's cylinder bases for these Godzillas because it's not, to me, my OCD, it doesn't center right. Like to me, it should be like this.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Instead of like right in there like that. But then on some of the other ones, the other Godzilla bust that I have for it, it kind of works better on there. But I'd rather kind of have it hovering in a way. So what I did is I found a trophy base on Thingiverse, and I printed this. I made it hollow, which was probably dumb. But I could either glue it straight on like that. I don't know if that sees. I could kind of glue it straight on like this, like glue it. Or I was going to put a post in there to hover it. But I think these work a little better for what I want to do with it. But so I'm working on that. I'm going to start painting my Mask of the Red Death finally and start doing a video series on it. And so I was going to break it down into parts. So I was going to start with the base. And so the base, in my, like, looking at the movie stills and looking at the movie, to me, it would be white marble is kind of the material, I think. And so I came across these in my classroom storage like thing. It's a bunch of old trophy bases that have these white marble pieces. So I kind of want to mimic that look to it. But every time I've seen someone paint marble, and I've tried it before, it never looks like marble. So I'm calling out to everyone. If you have a great marble painting technique and you can point me in the right direction, I'd love to look at what other people have done. And I think what happens is when people tend to paint marble, it looks too airbrushed because they'll take an airbrush and just squiggle the lines through there. You're like, oh, there it is. There's my squiggled lines. But when you actually look at it, it's layers of depth because the stone is like, it's layers. So you kind of have to have a transparent layer on top of a darker layer. And then on top of that, there's a sparkle to it. Like there is a sparkle that when you see other people do marble, it's missing that sparkle, like almost like glitter embedded in it. So I was wondering if anyone has an amazing way of doing marble or if I'm kind of stuck with just airbrushing the line. So look forward to me trying to paint marble videos coming up.
I have 2 suggestions for you.
Okay, so go ahead. I'd love to hear 'em.
Number 1, take that and cut it.
What do you mean?
Cut it. Take the piece there that you've got and cut it to the shapes and size of the floor.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I could.
You do that. That would probably be,
I need a tile saw,
yeah,
and they'd
but
have
you're
to be like,
really thin.
yeah, paper. That would be a
Or
nightmare.
or you just build up, you
And
use
that's
that, build up a base for it and cut the stairs out. You can do that.
yeah,
That'd be okay. That's one. The other one is they have this epoxy for countertops that you can use to make fake marble looks and stuff. If you look it up
yes,
online,
the epoxy, because we were going to do my basement floor like that. That's a
we
good
were gonna
idea.
do- so
Actually,
would,
what I could do is just kind of do the technique that they do.
yeah, just watch a video online how they do it.
Yeah, and take those colors and kind of swirl them on.
Yeah,
Brilliant. I'm going to try that. I'm going to see if that works.
I can't do it, but I can tell you what
I'm going to
would-
look at that. That's a great idea to look at, because we almost did my basement floor like that, and I didn't think the epoxy would dry because I have water issues of hydrostatic pressure. So yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm going to go watch someone do a floor and try and do it that way instead of airbrushing. Maybe we'll see if it'll work. That's a great idea.
'Cause what they do is they just, because I was gonna do my countertops upstairs, and we just, I don't know, we haven't done. We might still do it, but they just pour it on.
Yeah.
Spread it. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I do, and it just,
Yeah, maybe that sparkle is what's gonna.
you can go to the, like Michael's
Because-
or
Well, that's the
something.
other thing. Like, this is what it looks like, 1/1 scale marble, right? This
Right.
is 1/6 scale marble. So that's the other issue. Is like these lines in real life are that big. They'd have to be pencil size
However,
on the base, maybe.
but there's again, there's different size marble floors too.
Yeah.
So you don't know where the cut is and all that. I mean, if somebody gets that picky, you know what they can do? They can kick rocks.
But I'm that picky. Like, that's where my brain is. I'm like, I want it to look as good. Like, so that's where I am. That's coming. My plan is to just kind of go through that and do those videos finally with some time. So I've been painting that, doing this. I have not got any kits. I thought some of those pre-orders that I did through Big Bad Toy and through Cult TV Man would have come through by now, but nothing. Unless I missed an email. I don't think thing's released. So I haven't got anything new there. There were a couple kits I was going to buy that people were selling and I missed them. And then I was like, I bought a new printer. I bought another Saturn. I updated a Saturn and I'm officially out of room and I don't know what to do. But one thing I want to talk about that I got, and it kind of is going to lead into our movie. It's something we have not talked about on the show, and it's soundtracks and scores. And I was thinking, if you're up for it, one of these days coming up with a top 5 or 10 movie score list or soundtrack, like your favorite music. Because I'd like to talk more about music on this show. We're both
I love
around the
music.
same age. Like, so we could talk about music one day, but especially I want to do an episode talking about music for movies and your favorite score. So I don't want to get into like our favorites right now, but I bought one. It finally came in. It was pre-ordered and it's frickin'. So it is the score to the TV show Primal. And I keep telling people to watch Primal. Watch Primal. Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. It's one of the greatest shows of the last, I don't know how many years. The music is amazing. And it's for people who haven't heard me talk about it, there's almost zero dialogue in the show for the first season. It's all grunts and action, and it's all done by pictures. And so good. The music's amazing. And that release from I Am 8-Bit, it's a gorgeous vinyl release.
It's on HBO Max also, I
yes.
believe.
Oh yeah, because Adult Swim's on there. So if you have HBO Max, check out Primal. Did you watch any of it yet? No. God damn it. People.
Wait, dude, if I tell you all the stuff I've watched, I'm going to go through it and the different things. Because honestly, that's one of the shows I want to watch because you talk so highly about. I want to watch it.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff I put on in the background as I'm grading papers and stuff like that. So kind of
definitely, because you can't there's nothing to listen to. You
Right.
have to watch it. You can't listen to what they're saying. It's all visual. So it is a definite, you have to sit and not do other things. What, real quick, even though I said we weren't going to do it, do you have some favorite, off the top of your head, a favorite score or album?
I have a few actually.
Let's do one, and then maybe we'll dedicate an episode. Maybe next episode, we'll just each of us come up with a list.
Interstellar. I like the soundtrack to Interstellar.
I don't, that's so, okay. I'll have to go back and listen. I've seen the movie, but I don't remember the music.
I'm surprised. Have you seen it more than once?
No.
See, so when I taught it when I taught the film is lit class. That was one of the movies I used for science fiction and whatever. I did that back with 2001: A Space Odyssey, and which both have incredible soundtrack. But the music in that, I think what's so awesome about it is it affects the way you feel about what's happening, but it's not blaring. It's there. It's like right here.
It's in the back here. Yeah. I gotcha.
So you won't notice it, but I've seen it.
Well, see, and I think maybe that's the hallmark of a good score.
Yeah.
Is you don't notice it, but it affects you. So maybe that's why I don't remember it, because it was just kind of, yeah.
So check it out. I mean, you have Spotify.
Yeah, let's maybe, yeah. All right, cool. I like this idea.
How about you?
And there's two things. People get like score versus soundtrack, and we can kind of do that too. Like there's movies that have amazing soundtracks, which has songs, like regular real songs. Then you have your score, which is the orchestrated kind of stuff. Right. My favorite of all time of scores is The Crow, which gets overshadowed by the soundtrack every time. And I think the score itself is one of the best ever. And it's done by somebody who is an old industrial music kind of guy too. And I think that's an amazing one. Well, I don't want to reveal any of my list, but Once Upon a Time in the West is one of my favorite movie scores. That signature, the flute noise and stuff. So I'd love to we'll do this. We're going to do this.
It would have to be more than 5 though. Cause there's, there's a, so, cool.
And I try to buy them on vinyl now when I do see them. And I've got quite a few at this point. And dude, I started entering my music into Discogs, my music collection.
60 of them.
And I've continued. I've got 101 of my things in there now. I've just been doing a couple. I've spent so much money on music. It's so stupid. Oh, it's so stupid.
Pain, buddy.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God. I'm like, well, if I ever need to buy something expensive, which I do. Anyway, so let's get into our movie. I think that's where we are.
Oh, before
what did we miss?
Anything paranormal? Anything?
Oh, yes. So our paranormal corner sparked a huge, for our show and our comments, was a huge debate for what we get audience wise. People were not happy that we talked about UFOs and aliens and had a UAP corner. I do want to continue doing it because it's my show and I don't care. And we both like it. So we will continue to do it. I think when bigger stories come out or bigger things, we'll kind of hit on it. There was just last night I was watching something and it brought up the Miami Mall thing again. How there was, this is where good old fashioned Art Bell, where you just let people talk and tell their crazy story. And it's probably just made up bullshit. But someone had a video. It's this guy is like, I don't know if he's Australian or English, but it's a great, maybe I'll put a link to him down below so people can see it. He's a good consolidator of paranormal videos, and then he watches them along with you kind of thing on YouTube. I can't remember his name right now. And so I'll kind of watch those once in a while to kind of see if there's anything I missed this week. He had a really good one about a haunted house, of hearing these voices in this house, and they kept hearing this throughout. So it was a great one. But he had an interview with, not an interview, he was showing a clip of this guy talking more about the Miami things, where it was these teens were actually, what was the word? Like realm jumpers that had a device that could transfer them between different dimensions. And they were actually illegal people doing this with this device. And that's how they wanted to give it to it was a great little story. If I can find it, I'll put a link.
Yes.
There is it's kind of hit a lull since the last videos and stuff. There was a little bit more on the jellyfish UFO, but nothing major. David Grush and a couple other people, they made an announcement about an announcement coming out. So I'm wondering if that's going to come in the next couple weeks. So yes, I have nothing major to talk about. That's why I think it's just kind of, it does this a lot of times. So we're in one of those waiting for the next shoe to drop moments, but we're going to keep talking about it. It won't be I don't care.
Dude, I watch documentaries on Netflix and Hulu and all. If it has a UFO on it or whatever, I'm watching.
Yeah. Oh, the one thing I did want to point out, and I'll definitely put a link to this. This is the one big thing that I think did come out. So the one big thing I did want to talk about UFO, and I want everybody to watch this because I'll leave this person nameless as well because I don't know if they want all of their information out there either. Kid producer. We have very similar ideas on some of the things that are happening. And I pointed him in the direction of this woman. It's Diana Walsh Pasulka. And she was just on Joe Rogan the last couple weeks. It is go back and watch every interview you can find with her. If you can, this one was a really good one. If you're really into Joe Rogan, this interview with her was great. She's a professor of religion and philosophy and does a lot of her research started out into the actual texts of saints and historical religious figures and their descriptions of things that they had seen. Not people describing the descriptions, but their actual writings is what she would get into. And a lot of times she started to realize it sounds like UFOs and alien. Like it would be your classic, like that sort of thing. She's amazing, I think, in her depth of knowledge and in the way she speaks about things. So I would highly suggest, I'll put links down below to interviews that I can find with her. She's got some books out there. Her books, I'm sure, are just as interesting, but every interview I've seen with Diana Walsh Pasulka is just awesome.
You just described the whole 20 years of Ancient Aliens, just so you know that.
Right. But I mean, it's even like more than that, what she kind of gets into. It's an amazing interview. I've heard her interviewed on the Concrete podcast first, which is Danny Jones's podcast. And then on Joe Rogan this time, she was on That UFO podcast is another one I listen to. So please check her out, check her books out if you're interested in it. And it's funny, like a lot of these parallels keep coming up in different places, especially with the occult and some of this stuff and where jet fuel comes from and where some of these other things, like there's some really cool stuff out there. If you feel like going in a rabbit hole, that's where you want to start, I think. And you'll start to go, wait a minute, what the heck? So we'll leave it at that. That'll be our UAP corner today.
Awesome.
All right.
Since what have you seen anything besides The Creator?
No, I don't think so. No, I've been watching a lot of Cottonmouth.
I did follow them.
I will sit there and die laughing for hours.
I did follow. I just haven't watched it, but I watched Sisu, Sisu.
Oh, that was one that was going to eventually be on my list for this show. Was it good?
It's good.
Yes. Okay.
It's a Norwegian Rambo, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
So no spoilers. Just if you like good action World War II films, but he's Rambo. It's just good.
Okay. I like it. It's good. That's everything I've heard about that. It's good. So I am going to check that out.
And honestly, they can make a sequel out of that. I could see them doing that, but I don't know. It could be a stretch. But
Sisu.
Sisu.
Oh no, I was wrong. I watched the first episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I've never seen. I need to watch that. I heard it's good.
It's me. It's very much me at times, but then there's stuff that happened in this. I'm like, where he goes into political stuff, and I don't agree with what he's saying. So it's just it's not that I don't agree with what he's saying; it's ill-informed, and it's like,
It's
but
entertainment.
whatever, right? And like, anyway,
Entertainment. Don't worry about it.
I try. I can't when it takes me out, especially if it's dumb, based on dumbness. It bugs me. I thought I watched something else.
I'm like using the word dumbness, right? I'm almost caught up on my Oak Island. I'm a week and a half behind. It's going good, man. I can't believe they're digging down.
Oak Island is frustrating me so much,
but it's still good.
It's good. They have since you're a week behind, I don't want to say anything.
But I mean, it's every episode's the same. They find,
and that's what's bugging me is they keep flashbacking over it. It's like they treat every episode like people are watching that have never watched it before, and that's what's starting to really annoy me about it. I fast forward through 40-50% of the show at this point because it's that constant. Oh, 2 years ago, I'm like, yeah, I was there. I know. We don't need to watch that again. And it's like, fine, have people go back and watch those episodes. Stop. And I was under the impression this was the last season from someone, and it's not. It's not.
You know, they could have found the treasure 6 years ago, and they're just dragging this out.
That's my dad's. That is my dad's working theory.
That's how they're able to afford all this stuff,
right?
And all that.
Yep, and that's my dad's theory. And they're just effing around to make, yeah. Yep. All right.
So I watch during my lunch periods. I try to find things on Netflix that are, in case I get interrupted, that are, you know. I watch 3 shows. The Crew, terrible.
What's that?
It's about a race car. It's a comedy, half-hour comedy. So it's like perfect 20-minute, so for lunch. And then there's one called Blockbuster where they're in the last blockbuster, and it's a comedy kind of show. It's okay. It's better than The Crew. But the one that I'm watching, and I've blown through, dude, and it's funny. It's called Kim's Convenience, and it takes place in Canada, and they're Korean immigrant people who own a convenience store, and they live above it, and it's fantastic. There's 5 seasons, and I'm almost done with all 5.
What's it on?
Netflix.
Okay. Kim's Convenience.
All three of those. Yeah, don't watch the others. Watch the
Kim's Convenience.
Kim's Convenience. There's 13 episodes a season.
Okay.
So yeah, very funny stuff, man. Like misunderstanding words and all that, and the people they hang out with, dude, it's fun. It's fantastic, and it's on the verge, like they put their toes in inappropriateness, but they never really jump in. So it's okay. It's funny. It's good. You'll like it.
All right, I'll check it out. I like that kind of stuff. Cool. All right, our movie, The Creator. Dun dun dun. As always, we do full spoilers here. So if you want to watch the movie, go watch it. We are going to talk about it for the most. I'm going to kind of keep it spoiler light for people just in case. Like, I'm not going to go too deep into everything. But we will spoil the movie, though. I'm going to try and keep it.
We're only going to spoil the big parts.
Yeah, we'll spoil the big parts and the big notes. But there's some really cool stuff in there. So, first of all, what'd you think?
I liked it.
Okay, I liked it too.
I
really liked it, I think. And I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, which is a good sign for me. Is that good movies I tend to keep thinking about. And there's parts that I really keep thinking about in this movie. And we'll see if there's some of the same ones that you think about after watching it. So let me go over to our other screen. Quick synopsis as we kind of go through. It's about humanity's war with the AI. Well, not so much humanity, United States versus AI and the United States alliance. The movie starts out with, I think, and the creator's on Hulu. So if that's where I think it did have a limited theatrical release. And I kind of wish, I hate the theaters at this point. So I think this would be a good movie to have seen in the theater on a giant screen for certain things. But that being said, I liked it a lot. And it starts out with I think one of the better montages, and like an intro montage. I think that's really well done to kind of catch people up on how this world exists, where they got to where they are. And it kind of goes through, it starts out with kind of like your 1950s Tomorrow Today kind of montage of like robots helping people vacuum, and how it slowly started there, and it has built into like robots helping do surgery. I'm just kind of with the pictures I'm showing, and then people betting on robots boxing each other, and it's just, and the voiceover I think is really good too. And then they start making AI that looks like people, and then there's, they look basically indistinguishable from people other than that little robot spot on the back of their head. And people people racing against AI robots.
It kind of reminded me of when RoboCop, because the skin, kind of
definitely
RoboCop look.
Really well done, I think, with that. And then it slowly became like the AI like not getting along with people, and it ends the montage with LA being blown up by a nuclear weapon set up by the AI. And we find out later that it's not exactly what you think it is. And then it goes into the United States is at war with AI, trying to eradicate it from the face of the earth. And Asia has basically been the safe haven for AI. So it's basically the United States and the West versus Asia and the AI kind of thing. So,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised you like this movie, but we'll
really?
get into
okay. And I think it raises some interesting questions, and I liked. First of all, I want to start with Gareth Edwards, who's the director, and he's the only person to have made a good Star Wars movie in the last more recent Star Wars movie, because he directed
Last Jedi.
Nope.
No, Rogue One, right?
Yeah, Rogue One. So he directed Rogue One, and you can kind of see that. But one of the movies he did, his first, I think, theatrical release, and I could be wrong, was a movie called Monsters. And he also did Godzilla 2016, which is, Monsters is kind of what got him that job. Because he made, and this is like everyone's big complaint with that Godzilla 2016, it was too people focused and street level, which I liked part of that. Like, I wish there was more Godzilla, but if there was, I think, a better mix of that, because what made him famous for the movie Monsters was it was very street level with this giant crazy monster invasion going on, and just the way people interacted with each other in there. So so the movie then continues into we meet up with Joshua, who is
James Washington.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
John David Washington?
Yes, I think that's what, yeah. I could pull up the screen here a second. And he is an embedded, basically, agent in the separatist AI resistance group, and he's fallen in love with basically the leader of these people, and she's pregnant. And this is the setup. This is all before the title screen, which was not even the title screen. It's broken into chapters. So this is all before chapter 1. So it's kind of like the prologue, I would think. And it takes place in 2064, 2065, 2070, like between in the 2060s, which, like, it hits me a little weird. Like, oh crap, I'll be 90 if this was real. Like,
we'll be gone, buddy.
I know. That's like, well, if I make it that far, this is kind of what, and I could see some of it going that way, some of what happens in here. And you meet some of the characters that come up later in the movie, some of the AI characters, which is Ken Watanabe. His character has the full human face, but with the hole in the side of his head. And then there's full AI characters that you meet here. And he basically gets found out, his girlfriend, because he's fallen in love with the leader. He gets found out by her, and they take off in a boat. And Nomad, which is the low orbit weapons platform that's constantly floating around the earth, decimating everything in its path, basically wipes everybody out. He survives, and it I want to say this movie gets explosions right. Like
It does.
like there is a feel, and it's not even just explosions, like the suddenness and the weight of damage. Like you can feel like it has that very real feel to like all the fighting and shooting, except for one thing. That's my biggest pet peeve, I think, with it. And so she basically gets blown up, or so we think, and then he ends up back in the United States injured, and they want him to kind of help them find her and track her down, or not her, but track down. They don't realize that she's actually the leader till halfway through. And so
it's 5 years later though.
Yeah, 5 years later. So it's like 2060, 2070. I can't, it's in the 2060s. And so here's Nomad. I'm putting these kind of pictures up. And
which is cool. That's a cool ship.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons, and this movie screams anime. Yes. Like screams. And that's, I think, why I like it. And then I saw and anyone can go watch this on IMDb. There's an interview with Gareth Edwards, and it talks about first the relationship between our main actor and one of the other actors is going to come out in a second. But then it talks about the films that influenced this movie the most. And he said, and you can see it, like it's dead on. And it's what I thought of. Blade Runner, Apocalypse Now, and Akira were his top 3 influences when it came to this movie. And watching this movie, you can totally tell. Have you seen Akira?
No, that's the only one I haven't seen of the 3.
Okay. So there's shots in this movie that are Akira. Like in because they've been talking for years that they want to do a live action Akira. Please hire Gareth Edwards to do it, because I think he would nail it, because he understands that movie. And one of the good things about Akira, or one of the cool things, is the way they do explosions, the way the smoke is animated, and the way the explosions feel huge, and he's got that feel in here. And I was going to
say same thing, talking about the explosions. That's before I forget. I noticed like fake explosions can pull you out. It really can.
Yeah.
It looks like it's like flat and all that. These look really good. But the other thing is the water.
Yeah.
Like when the ships are going over the water, and like, because the ships don't run in the water, they hover above, and it still makes that wake of the water. Yeah. And it's so good that I caught it, and I actually rewound it a couple times just to see if I could see the bright, and you can't. It's seamless. The special effects are fantastic.
Yeah, and that's I want to talk. In the other movie he said that was an influence was a movie called Baraka, which I've heard about but never watched, where it's just basically images from around the world. And he said in this interview that he kind of wants Star Wars and Baraka to have a baby, which is kind of what he ended up with, because there's so many cinematic moments in here that are just like, this is Earth, and these are the people that live here. And now there's another race of people that live here that coexist. And it's the way they've kind of seamlessly mixed the AI in with other people and what they do in jobs. And it has the feel of everything I kind of like. And I think Gareth is one of us, like just a giant nerd. And you can tell through most of this that that's what's going on. Even right down to the general that's in there, the male general with the glasses reminds me of the general from Akira, like a ton. And the one hard thing is I had a hard time picking up on characters' names for some reason. And I know Joshua and I know Alfie, but some of the other ones I'm like, what the hell was that guy's name? Or was it because there's just so many people coming in and out at times?
Travel. Yeah, they get in a bunch of
so it was hard to keep track. But for the most part, it kept me going through it. It's a long movie. There's some slow spots.
2.5 hours.
But yeah, and you have this scene here that I thought like screams. You have your typical when he gets recruited, so he's going back now to Asia to help locate Nimrata, which is the god of the AI, is what they're looking for to destroy this weapon that they've created. And it's your aliens scene where they're all in the ship getting ready to go. You kind of meet your characters from the assault squad, and they eventually just get wiped out, except for a couple of them. Yeah. And I think the general or the commander, I forget her name in the movie too. She's in a ton of stuff. She was in The Help. She's on that TV show Moms or Mothers. Like
Mom.
she's in a lot of stuff, and I think she was really good in it. There's nobody that I could say. I saw an interview where they were like, "Oh, the acting was terrible." I'm like, I didn't feel that. Like I thought, how about you?
Okay. First of all, Joshua, I don't know if you know this, he's Denzel Washington's son.
I did not know that.
So if you go back and just close your eyes and listen to him talk, if you hit something, just listen to it, he sounds just like him. But he was on a TV show with The Rock called Ballers back in the day
Oh
on
yeah.
H.
Okay. Yeah.
He's fantastic. I honestly, he's going to take Denzel's spot when Denzel retires, whatever. He's great. I thought he was awesome.
Me too. I really, really liked him in this.
Yeah. Oh, he's good. He's great. The whole, he's missing limbs,
Yeah.
having to act like he doesn't have limbs, and then they put fake limbs on it. Dude, how awesome! The cool, like where it doesn't quite match, where he would have like a line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you could see in between and stuff. And I know it's a simple thing now. They just probably put green tape on it or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
It looks so cool.
And then the other thing that he said that he fought with the studio to not green screen backgrounds, to have people actually on location. And I think that goes to what you said. It really gave it a sense of weight and reality to it. Yeah, you could see like you had guys running around in green suits where they could replace them with robot parts, but it worked. Visually, it worked for me so well.
Yeah. And whoever played Alfie, the little girl, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And she is gonna be a really good actress eventually. I mean, she's good now.
Yeah.
But she added a depth to that a little kid normally wouldn't bring to a movie. Normally little kids are there and it's like, I gotta take
go. Yeah.
say all that. And that's not at all what she was. She was an important part and she was really good at it. So
yeah. It reminds me back of the movies. We've watched some little girl, like adult travel movie. Like 65 was kind of like that. Had that kind of where like we have to get from point A to point B with this kid. Right. And then Love and Monsters was like that for a minute that you didn't watch yet. That I watched that one time, but it kind of had that same and it was done like the traveling part, that part of the movie I thought was really, it turns into a road movie. It turns into like all these different kind of things kind of mixed together. When he comes across Alfie, and we'll kind of jump there. So Alfie turns out to be the weapon. So they invade this where they think the entrance to the weapon containment system is. And they get there and it's this giant door, and it is the exact giant door from Akira. Like it looks just like it. If you go like, and I think maybe that's why I liked it so much. This is my aesthetic. This is what I like. Wires, doors, metal, tubing, like it screams anime. And when he gets inside, they assault the place. They get inside, there's a chair in front of a TV, and there we meet Alfie sitting there, and you're like, okay, how is this the weapon? And that's where it kind of
the smallest character.
right. And that's where I think that Akira part comes in. So if anyone hasn't seen Akira, it's about they're experimenting on children to use telekinetic powers, basically. And we find out through the course of the movie that she has those kinds of powers, but it's over machinery. And like she basically can connect wirelessly to all the electronic systems in the world. And to shorten up the story here, the point of her being a weapon is they want to get her up to Nomad, to destroy Nomad, so that they can get rid of this giant weapons platform that's been tracking them down. And that's this weapon that they're trying to get rid of. And the movie culminates in that with them. And I'm going to kind of shorten it up a bit, and then we can go back to little beats. What's that?
There's a lot. There's a lot.
It is not a simple movie where it's like ABC. There's ABC, but there's a lot happens in each of those. And I want to kind of come back to those story beats after I just so that's the point of the movie, is destroying this weapons platform using this girl. Joshua, he thinks his wife is still alive because he sees her on a little footage, but it turns out she's been basically a vegetable since that attack with the boat. And they've been keeping her alive because they can't do harm to a human. And so they have to he finds her. This is one of the saddest parts, is he has to pull the plug on her and to let her go. And there's a lot of touching moments in there. And I want to get, like I said, to these little beats that kind of come through. And I think, again, like we talked about explosions, there's the scene where they put the little timey sticky bomb on the one soldier and she ends up in the Osprey kind of thing. And then they're trying to fight to get it off. And that comes back like remote detonation bombs over and over. Like, there's some really good things in here that I think people need to see if you really like sci-fi. The part where Alfie's looking at the other AIs being created in the factory, I think that was really well done.
That reminded me of Westworld.
Yeah.
Did you? That's what. As soon as she walked in there, I was like, "Oh my god, it looks." Except in Westworld, they weren't in bags or whatever, but it had that feel to it, you know.
Yeah, it had that dirt. Like you would think, like that Asian sweatshop kind of like, why isn't this place clean? Where they're making this, it just looks like your typical factory of people kind of working there.
Going with that, how's about the Asian street markets where they're just making them on the street, making AI on the street?
Yeah,
I mean,
and I think that's where I think he shines as a director, is his level of detail, and that's what, like, even Rogue One was there's so many good things in Rogue One. Yeah, there was some stuff that I was like, whatever, and I think a lot of that was probably forced on him. He probably would have taken things in a different direction. I think there's a director's cut of Rogue One that would be even better than what we got. And then, I mean, Joshua finds his friend he's in love with this AI chick now, who I think is smoking hot in this movie. And this is where the Blade Runner stuff comes in. So anyway, the creator, I think it's definitely worth watching. Some of the other story beats that I really, 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 really like. There's like little, like just image. They would have all these laser sights on the back of her head when they get her in the apartment, and they're going to hit her with an EMP in the back. Like, just visually, it's amazing. I want to talk about the bridge. Ken Watanabe is freaking awesome, I think, in this. And
I like him.
Yeah. And then the American, like the mechanized giant tanks that they have. And you have these like people basically, like stick fighting with little PP shooters against these giant tanks and what they have to do. This part, the bridge fight, is just, I love the bridge part. And it has the background of these, you don't know what this equipment does, but visually it just makes this world feel like industrial. It makes it feel real and lived in. And
so the bridge fight, I mean, the cool thing about that is that Joshua wants to leave. He wants to get her out, get Alfie out. Now, one of the secondary beats is that really Joshua could care less about killing the weapon. He wants the weapon to get him to go see his wife or whatever. So they're trying to get out of there. And when the U.S. Army's attacking in their giant, huge city-wide tanks, she won't do it. She's like, no. And ironically, I thought it was ironically, the U.S. is using almost AI robots to send in and blow things up, the guys up, run in and just boom.
Dude, that was one of my favorite. It was like the most tense moment so they have and I have the picture here of, they look like walking like garbage cans that are just a bomb on legs. That he's like, I'm happy to serve you. And then they just run and like run to where they got to explode. And it was like, holy crap.
Don't tell me there's not some spirit. There's a ton of spiritualism and religion.
Ton. And it comes back to my UAP stuff that we've been talking about, and AI and what's happening in the world. And this is where I think I keep thinking about it. And it's when they say he's off instead of dead, like he's off. Like
the thing is, Alfie, to stop, like when she takes control, what does she do?
Yeah.
She makes praise. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things in there that you could watch this movie probably 4 or 5 times. You have to spread it out because it's dense.
Yeah.
But you can like look for specific things and find different things every time.
And it really made me think, like, what's the difference? Like, maybe we're not real. Like, maybe we are AI. Maybe, like, how am I different than that robot person? They think the same as me. Like, they think, and that's what this movie is about at its heart, is how do we've created something that basically is us, but looks different. They they love, they like everything that we have, they have. But what makes us different? And how
They,
would we be different spiritually? Like they're talking about he had to explain heaven to her at some point. And like how do you explain that to a robot? An
well, how do you
AI, like
explain
a
to a
fake,
little kid? I mean, seriously, how do you explain to a little kid?
right? Exactly. And where
it's
it's
just
like, well, shit, maybe there isn't one. We just get turned off. Like that's, who like, and everyone would have their own thought. And I think it raises some really good questions. It might not give all the answers. There's, I think the scene where they're basically have Buddhist monks that are AI robots. Like there's some of the greatest visuals there. Here when he finds his wife still as vegetable, has to turn her off, talking to the Buddhist temple. Like they have her in this temple, and then Nomad comes and blows everything up again, and they got to get out of there. But there are some really, and this goes back to the explosions. There's some really good deaths in
Yeah.
terms of they don't feel comical. They're like,
There's
if you were to
nothing.
get blowed up, this is what would happen unceremoniously, and just like the bullets feel like they hurt. Here's my like, I think I have two little minor nitpicks with it. I would think the AI would be dead shots. Like, unless they were programmed to have bad aim, why are they
Well,
not just like,
okay,
like, you know what I
but
mean?
remember,
Like,
okay, I mean, this is how, and I know I was kind of thinking the same thing watching it. But if humans are programming them and humans are fallible, then they wouldn't be perfect.
right.
So
And
that's
that's,
how.
that's kind of what I thought they would do, is to make them as much like us as possible, where they didn't give them that when they were making them. But then it also, I got confused. I think that confused me the most is they said they couldn't pull the plug on his wife because they couldn't harm a person, or they couldn't harm. But then how are they shooting at people? Like, is it because they shot at them? Like,
Or it could be because those were the Buddhist monks. So it could be that we can't harm because we are religious leaders and we can't kill.
okay, so that's
That,
my
yeah, so
least
people watch it.
my least favorite part of the movie, and it's my problem with all movies, is they have to add a stupid bit of comedy in the middle of like cool stuff happening. And it was the monkey pushing the button on that bomb. Like,
See, I didn't think it was funny.
no, I think,
Here's
but it was like a sense of like, oh hey, a monkey can push the bomb. How did you take it then?
I took it this the monkey is part of the evolutionary steps. And that just shows that even monkeys kill, we kill, AI
Okay,
kills. Step in the thing. Seriously,
I at
that's
one point
exactly
I
what
thought that the monkey was AI. Like I thought it was like a fake monkey is what, and they made this monkey to be with them and knew what the mission was, kind of thing. But it was just like, it was handled not as comedically as people like normally would when they do this stupid
right.
like joke thrown into this serious moment, because the movie is played serious throughout the whole thing, and then I'm just like, oh, a monkey's gonna come over and do this. But I like how you kind of
And honestly, like I didn't even like laugh or think it was funny at all. I was like, everybody and everything kills.
yeah, okay,
So, but that's the
um
English teacher of me, man.
yeah,
We are always looking for that symbolism and stuff. You're an art guy. You should
yeah,
too.
no,
I
and
do
that's
that.
similar. Then that's, but to me, I'm so Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy, like there has to be a joke every 5 seconds, and that's when my brain immediately went, oh, here we go, oh, the monkey's gonna push the button, like what, come on, is kind of thing. So they do eventually get up to Nomad with the girl, blow it up, and I think there's so many pointless deaths in movies with your like, or people come back because they can't just live with the weight of that character dying. And it brings me to the idea of a good death. Like, I would love to have a good death. I don't want to die in a nursing home. I want to be in that ship blowing something up, like to do something good for everybody and have it matter in terms of, and I think, and I'm glad. I was worried that they were going to show an escape pod landing somewhere, or them crawling out of the wreckage and still be alive, and they didn't. And so for people who complain about me being Mr. Dark, depressing endings, it's like, I don't want that. I want that death to have meaning and have weight. And I think if you had them survive, it would have taken away from that. And
Well,
I want more of that adult kind of ending to movies.
Alfie lives, but
Alfie lives, and I expected that. Yeah.
Joshua basically kills himself or sacrifices himself for
Right.
her. But Did you get and maybe I'm misreading it or whatever, but they kind of showed it, the wife making Alfie. Did you get the idea that the Alfie was in the vein of what their kid would look like?
Oh yeah, no, it was their kid.
What it
That's
was,
that. Yeah. So they said in there they scanned the fetus and created an AI, and the alpha is actually growing. So it's basically
right.
another species that's been tacked on to kind
Yeah.
of continue humanity. It was a mix of the AI and human. So they scanned their child. So it was Joshua. Yeah, it was their kid basically.
I might have
Yeah. Oh no, then that's easy. And that's one of the complaints is there's so much kind of layered in there, and there's some parts that maybe should have been trimmed a little bit. But I, all in all, I really liked it. And why does that surprise you? That's what I want to know.
who are the bad guys in this movie?
The Americans, and but are they like are they? There's really not a bad guy in my opinion.
Uh, who blew up Los Angeles?
Well, it was a coding error. They said
Was it?
that. Well, that's what
Who,
they said. Well, that they Alfie.
so that's what I'm
who was
saying.
it?
So what they've done is they've created a thing that kind of goes against your political views a little bit, where the Americans are the bad guys and who are the good guys, the Chinese, and that there are the Americans blew up LA in an attempt to create this world war, this battle of
But you
that's
can
kind of
see
it.
that. No, and I can see why that. But trust me, we do a lot of bad things. And
Oh no, I'm not saying
yeah,
we don't, and that's I'm just saying that like when it's out there like that, especially in movies, you tend to
no, not when it's done well. When it's done as a like mallet to hit you over the head, like you're wrong, because it still leaves the opinion open. The Americans are, in their opinion, is doing what's right for humanity, is to save people and keep people here and not have this happen again. Because what I read in there is that it wasn't on purpose to start the war. It was a coding error, and now it's just nothing but a giant misunderstanding of them thinking that they did this on purpose. They did this on purpose. Now we have to figure out who's right, who's wrong. Whereas I think in general, a lot of time, and trust me, I think we start, and this is where I know we can't get into politics. I disagree with a lot of that. Is I think we do a lot of things on purpose to start things all the time.
the military industrial complex.
Yes,
Like,
kit wise, let's do kit worthy. There's so
something.
much. Like, just pick something. There's so much. You got mech, you got spaceship type stuff, you got robots, AI, people wearing cool gear. Like, there's so much you could do kit wise with this. Like, you could base a whole kit company, I think, on this movie and stuff that came out. And I'm surprised I haven't seen anything, especially in the world of like 3D print stuff. I don't think I've seen much or anything I can think of. There might be one or two, but someone would want those tanks. Someone would want a ship of that Nomad thing. Somebody would want even just the Marines with the giant like equipment on their back. Just a guy standing there all weathered out and like look at like you could do so much cool stuff.
The robots with the square heads also.
Yes. Oh, and that was,
Dude.
and I think that if I had to pick a kit, is the one AI that was with Ken Watanabe, his Juan or what, I can't remember his character name is, that was kicking the soldier in the face and punching him in the face in the beginning. That was always there. That eventually got blown up really good, like blown up.
Yeah.
Like I'd love a kit of that dude just standing there with his gun, or just the AI like people with the holes. His girlfriend, the Asian chick with the girl, like that would be a great kit. Alfie would be a great kit. Like even Joshua with his arm and his leg, like everything. There's so many great kit potential in here that I really hope someone taps into it and picks some cool stuff.
How cool would it be, Joshua? You do it with magnets in it, so you could attach his arm and let.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
It'd be awesome. Yeah, it just there's a ton. Personally, I think the tank for me would be the thing that I would like because it reminded me of the Megaforce.
Yeah, totally. Yes, and but
like
see that I think it's on purpose. Like it has. He's one. Like I said, he's one of us, and I think Megaforce was in there. Like when you look at some of that stuff, it totally is that Megaforce tank, and cool. Oh man, There's so many cool. Like
There's a
even
ton.
just the Buddhist monk robot. Like, come on. Like, how cool would that be to have? There,
Phenomenal.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right. You could. I bet you there's has to be someone out there who's done stuff on
I'll have to,
CG
yeah, I'll have to
Trader.
look. I'll have to look. I haven't looked yet, and I'll bet this is real quick. This image, this is, I think was unnecessary, but it was a throwback to Monsters in a way. Is the tentacle like robot thing at the end when they're on the Nomad that the guy's trying to fight with? That was like Doc Ock kind of arms, because in
Yeah,
Monsters they have like these tentacles, and I think I felt like it was a throwback to his first movie. And there's Nomad blown up, but man,
it could be a throwback.
yeah, there's some cool stuff in this movie, and I think everyone, it got bad. Like some people hated it, and I was like, I
Dude,
felt like a weirdo at that
okay.
point.
Now think about it though. There are people that give bad reviews of movies that aren't even out. So
Yeah,
why would
true,
you think there are? I mean,
true.
come on. And you know
So,
what? I'm gonna tell you what. After talking to you about this, my grade has changed.
oh, I didn't want to do that.
No, and that's okay. That's all right.
I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna say A for me. It's not an A plus because there's like, I think it's a bit too long at times, and I think tightened up just a tiny bit could have made it like perfect. But for
Yeah.
me, it's one of those movies, kind of like All Quiet on the Western Front, that was kind of made for me. It has everything I liked as a kid and growing up, like references in there that just, oh yeah, that's that, that's that, that's that. So for me, it would be an A, and I can see why people might be bored and not like it, or just kind of. And I
You're
think
not
this is a personal opinion choice. How about you?
I was going to give it a B, but I'm giving it A minus after talking to you and all of the things that were in there that as I'm talking, I'm like, wait a minute, that was cool, that was cool, that was good, that was good. So and length, I don't mind long movies. I don't. I watched the Zack Snyder Justice League in one sitting, and that was what, four and a half
Yeah,
hours. So
you know me. I don't mind long movies either. I just think there was times where it was like longer than it needed to be. Like especially the part where they're like going from point A to point B. Like especially
maybe,
in the city
but
when they were just in that city part.
when they were
But
going to see his
like,
friend,
but even that. Oh, you know what it reminded me? Now that I think about it, there's so many little cool things in there. When it totally reminded me of The Professional, when they're in that apartment building, and he gives
yeah,
her the remote bomb, and they're waiting outside to go into the apartment door. Whereas in The Professional, they go into the door and get obliterated. Here,
yeah,
they send a remote bomb, and it's like boom, we can go in. Like there's moments that throughout movies that I like that are kind of twisted into it,
you
and
know what this could be. It'd be kind of funky. I mean, you could probably make it work if you were to sit down and think about it. This could be a prelude to the Terminator.
yeah, it could. Yes, it's one of
That's what I
those.
was thinking about. I watch it. Yeah, it's got that feel of the mechanical versus man war. But
Yeah,
it's a
but
little different.
done in a way that is more
It's different, but
believable.
there's
I think I
oh yeah,
don't.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
well 100%. Dude, we could be headed this way. We
I
could be
and that's what scared the crap out of me. Is like as I'm watching, because this movie came out like a little while ago, like at least less than a year ago. But there's so much that's happened since this movie came out that I'm like, man, this ain't that far off. Like I could see it. Like it's all believable. Like science, not science fiction, science possible. I would
yeah,
say, like
yeah,
it could go this way because you could see the military going this way for sure. Where you have your drone up there, just
yeah.
shooting
That's
stuff.
really what it was. It was just a
Yeah,
huge drone.
yeah.
Really all know.
So, all right, what do you want to do next? What do you want to watch next?
Well, since we're going to do the soundtrack thing,
Yeah,
we're
let's
gonna
do that.
we're gonna curve from the choice that I originally had that I just made sure early before we recorded. I said, "Hey, have you seen blank?" And you're
You know
like,
what?
"No."
Maybe let's do both. Let's do a twofer.
Yeah,
You want to do both? Okay.
yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
So, choice number one will be Cocaine Bear. Let's do it, baby.
We have not watched that yet. Okay.
What? I've heard good. I've heard bad.
I've heard that
Let's
as well.
and you know me, I like corny. Hey, you know what? One of my other choices because it's on Hulu was was the Sloth movie, Slaughterhouse, because it's on Hulu now. I have it. But anyhow, second choice, going in with our soundtracks and our music choices, we're gonna watch on Netflix Whiplash, which if you haven't seen, is I have seen it, but like I said, we're building off of the music take here and the focus on music. It's just about a music school and a jazz director, and it is the first time I watched it a few years ago. The next day, I sent an email to our band director. I was like, "Have you seen this freaking movie yet?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "And what did you think?" He's like, "I loved it." I was like, yeah, "How could you not?"
All right.
Well, I'm kind of giving it my feelings away a little bit,
Okay.
but the guy, I'm drawing a blank, but he played now I can't think. J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons.
Okay.
He's in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
He's in it, and the dude who was in the last Fantastic Four movie that came out years ago, who played Reed Richards. He's
I
the
know what you're
drummer.
talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
So, dude, it is so good.
Okay.
At least I think so, and it fits perfectly with the music thing that we're looking at. So,
Okay. Definitely. And then I have a
cool.
music one. Maybe I will do a 2 for the next episode as well for a music
Perfect.
movie that I like.
Yeah, because basketball ends in a week or so, and I'll have a little more time to
Cool.
watch.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. That was Model and Movie, The Creator.
Watch
and an A minus.
Watch it. Watch it.
Yeah,
it.
watch it. I think it's definitely. Kit producers, watch it. Sculptors, watch it. There's some cool stuff in there. Make some stuff for us to paint
because make us happy.
I would love to paint some stuff from this. There's really cool stuff you could do. So we'll see you next time, everybody. Take care.
Later.